What is it costing you to stay as you are? So, what is happening is we are coming out into this new normal, okay, whatever that is. Today, I've had the experience of having to wear a mask for the first time in a retail situation. So, I was actually down and up and running, helping runners from all over Yorkshire with advice, with their kit, with everything else, okay? And we're into this new normal, and the conversation kept coming up about how things are strange and how things have changed, okay? And the question comes up for me in that what is it costing you to stay as you are? So if something as big, something as transformative, something as disruptive as what we've had in these past few months, if that hasn't kicked you up the bum to do something different because you weren't happy with what you were doing before, if that hasn't kicked you up the bum to do something different, then what will? And then if we bring it right down into the very now, it's what is it costing you to stay as you are? So maybe right now, if you look at it as in the next hour, what is it going to cost me if I don't do that thing to get me fit, healthy, and happy? Probably not much difference, right? It's not going to make much difference. But then if we extrapolate that out into the next 24 hours, if I don't do X, Y, and Z, what is it costing me in terms of the cost of to you personally and to the cost of to those people around you? Okay, think of those two things. The cost to yourself, the personal cost, and the cost to those around you. What is the cost? And then if we extrapolate that out into maybe something a bit more tangible, like in the next 6 months, say it's another 6 months. So we've had roughly 6 months of this new way of life, and now we've got a remaining 6 months of 2020. What would it cost you if you stayed exactly as you are? That's the question to ask yourself every day. What is it costing me to stay as I am if you're unhappy with where you are right now in terms of your health, fitness, and happiness, okay? If you're happy with that stuff, if you're happy in all of those aspects, then bully for you, fabulous. Continue doing what you're doing. If, however, you're unhappy with it and you've been banging on about doing something and yet there's still not been any consistent action, a consistent change for you, then maybe it's now time to, one, be aware that nothing's changed, and two, finally do something about it, and three, to do something different than you've done before, because everything else that you've been doing hasn't worked, right? Because if it had worked, you'd be happier with where you are right now, okay? So one technique of really bringing it home, really bringing your awareness up as to what it's costing you, is to look at it on, say, a 6, 12, 18, 36 month kind of projection, okay, in terms of what is it going to cost me in the next 6 months, what is it going to cost me if I don't do anything for a year, what's it going to cost me in 18 months, in 3 years' time. Imagine or ask yourself, how happy would you be if you stayed as you are, you stayed or continued doing exactly what you're doing now? How happy would you be in 3 months, in 3 years' time, looking back and looking at everything you've been doing? Would you be happy? If you would be, fabulous, continue. If you wouldn't be, then isn't it time to do something? It's about grabbing the bull by the horns by understanding that time is the one thing that is slipping away, whether we want it to or not. And I implore you to even make just that 1% change. I've done a whole video on that 1% incremental change, okay? So just do something every day that means that you feel even just 1% better or 1% closer to what or how you want to feel or how you want to be or the time that you want to spend with people or whatever it is. Just 1%, okay? So the big question is, what is it costing you? Write it down. Write it down in black and white. What is it costing you to stay as you are? Because if you're unhappy with it, you have the choice to do something about it, rather than in 6, 12 and 18 or 36 months time look back and think, for funk's sake, I wish I'd done X, Y, Z, or just having this whole regret that 3 years has gone by and nothing's changed. I'm talking to myself as well here, right? I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to myself here. It's like you have to keep that fire in your belly, or you have to feel like there's some sense of urgency. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Some sense of urgency, and it's about finding something that makes things urgent for you so that you do the things, okay? So whether it's because you want to lead by example, you want to do something for someone else, you want to do something to prove someone wrong, whatever it is, find that thing that is going to tip you over so that you start doing the things that you have been talking about doing, so that you don't pay these costs that it is going to cost you, okay? Write them down. You see it as a physical list, and then it's like, okay, so this is what it's going to cost me if I don't do anything about my fitness, health and happiness. Am I happy to pay that cost? If you are, fab, carry on. It's an assessment tool. If you aren't happy with those costs that you're going to have to pay, that you realize are potential costs, then what are you going to do about it? Are you going to just acknowledge them and continue and carry on, or are you going to do something about it? All right, that is the big question today. Deep for a Saturday, but an important question to ask. What is it costing you to stay as you are?